look at the people we've got lined up. We've got stars from Formula One. I mean, we ordered 1.1 million clay pigeons for 1 week shooting.
And without social media, I wouldn't have a business. It's over at 1,000 winners so far. Right, so welcome everybody, and hopefully we've got some viewers and listeners. But essentially, Rob, we are starting a podcast.
Well, we have talked about it for a very long time.
Very long time, yeah.
Haven't we? So, we've got a lot of friends who want to get involved, haven't we? And we do a lot of shooting, and I've been in this industry a long time, and it's just I think it's just fun. I think it's something fun.
Definitely.
You're a good mate, and you've got a great business, and we'll have a laugh along the way.
Exactly, yeah. No, and it's cool. I think I'm a big podcast listener. We spoke about this sort of 2 years ago. We actually did film or recorded. We didn't film an episode in London with Sean O'Brien, which was a cool episode. We've listened to it and no one else has.
No, at some point we're going to sort of get it out there.
Yeah, definitely.
It's quite cool though. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, like for everybody listening and viewing, we just wanting to put a podcast out there to talk about everything field sports related, as well as a bit of business type chat.
Yep.
And then on top of that, try and get some key players and key people that you and I both know, some big names as well, if we can, to come on as guests.
I think. Look, shooting's an amazing sport, isn't it? And an industry. And I think the more we can get people involved, more people talking about it, more people proud of going out and doing it, the better.
Yeah.
And look at the people we've got lined up. We've got stars from Formula One. Your rugby connections. Many other areas, businesses.
Yeah.
Real serious business leaders, and they love their shooting. So why not get them involved and come along, and we can have a laugh along the way.
And we're trying to tick all boxes as well. We're going to be on audio, so Spotify and Apple, as well as YouTube.
Yeah.
And obviously then we can reel out some funny clips of it on our social medias.
There'll be plenty of those.
Yeah, absolutely. And we should just have a bit of fun. So I thought we're here today. The setting is obviously quite special. The reason being is because the Lordship.
Can I just say?
He's going hosting some clients, should he say?
The problem is, people say to me, "Oh, you have such a great life." This is not the place to start. To say to them, "I don't have a great life." Start in a private lounge in a private jet centre in Birmingham.
About to
jump on a plane and disappear with some clients out to Spain to shoot partridge. So look, it's
tough at the top.
This is. I can assure you it's not all like this.
I'm joking, mate.
But look, this is, for the viewers and everyone else, this is a very lucky, very small part, but a very lucky part of it.
Yeah. And it's another side of our fantastic industry that a lot of people don't see, but this happens a lot, and
it does. And, but I mean, look, going partridge shooting in Spain is fantastic.
Yeah.
And, I've been lucky to do it a few times, and it's just amazing. We're going to a place called Ventesilla, which is, we fly into Madrid, hour and a half from Madrid. It is just amazing.
Yeah, we did a competition for that actually last year.
Yeah, that's right, and it is just a phenomenal place.
Yeah.
It really is. And so the castle is fantastic, the estate is great. Antonio Cavero, who runs it, is professional as they get.
Yeah.
The house staff are amazing. They shoot 7 days a week.
Wow.
7
Sundays?
Sundays included. Do not stop. All the way through the season.
Wow.
So you imagine 7 days from September to end of February.
Yeah.
In fact, I think they can even go, this year into March a little bit. It's different to our season in the UK. Did you know? So they, depending on where you are in Madrid, the region depends on when you can shoot your seasons.
Okay.
And then also their seasons change every year.
Wow.
So it's not like ours with a set, partridge start on the 1st of September, finish on the 1st of February. Out there, it might be the end of February this year. It might be the 14th of March.
Who makes that call?
And the government do.
Why does it vary?
I think because of it's a very good question, and I should really know, and I don't. But it's
interesting.
I think it's to do with breeding cycles and various things. But I'll find out when I'm out there. And it's a good question, and I'll find out why it does vary.
Yeah.
But we should get Antonio's a phenomenal guy. I mean, a big hunter who
get him on the pod.
We should get him on here. My God, he sends me pictures. I'm like in the middle of nowhere, and I just get this picture pop up on WhatsApp, and it's like, "Oh, hola, Rob. Look what I've shot." It's like, I'm like, "Oh my God, look at that." But he's a cool dude. He's
very
really
good.
Cool.
So that explains obviously why we are currently sat in a private jet terminal, which is quite surreal. But in fear of us getting a bit disjointed in obviously our first episode, I think ultimately we should introduce ourselves, and because we can't assume everybody knows us.
Yeah.
So Rob,
they know you because you're all over social media, aren't you?
So are you, sir. Yeah. I'm a couple of videos behind you at the minute. But so obviously Rob, you are involved in EJ Churchills, which has been a fantastic brand, and certainly from the get-go helped Tweedle out quite significantly. And since then we've been friends. So tell us about your involvement with Churchills and about Churchills and what it is.
Of course. So, I mean, I went to Churchill's 23 years ago.
Wow.
I know, yeah, it's quite a long time, isn't it? So I'm 45 now, and so... I left agricultural college, a place called Harper Adams in Shropshire, which is an amazing place. Had a wonderful time there and met some friends for life. Went straight to Harper, straight to Churchill's. Got a job, and I applied for the advert. I've still got it at home. It said West Wickham events organizer. There's this little ad in the Farmers Weekly.
Wow.
And I just thought, and I sat at college, agricultural college. It's a university now, but as it was then, and I literally was sat there, and it was price. I was going, I'm a farmer's son from North Yorkshire, but I've got an older brother. He wanted to farm. I never really wanted to farm. I was like, I don't really know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
You know, what is the plan? And I saw this advert and thought, sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Happened to be at the time on the estate, the West Wickham estate, and the shooting school, the ground that is EJ Churchill now, used to be called West Wickham Shooting Ground because it was on my business partner and chairman Sir Edward Dashwood's estate, which is West Wickham. Yeah. So I applied for them, got the job. And absolutely fell in love with it. But
How old are you, 18?
No, I'd be 22.
22.
Yeah, 22. So, and I started as an events organizer, worked for this great girl called Sammy Kay, and she then disappeared. She resigned about 3 months later. She got an opportunity to go work in Barcelona. And if you're remembering, you're too young, you won't remember this. And Charlie, I mean, there's not, our cameraman over here, he wasn't even born, which makes me feel so old, which is what I'm quite
Still
worried
waiting for his beard to come through that way.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't even thought about, was Charlie. So, and so what happened was, I forgot my train of thought, but, she went off to Barcelona, but it was foot and mouth. And 9/11.
Wow, I do remember foot and mouth.
Yeah, exactly. So, so at that point, the world was coming to an end, wasn't it? Idiots were flying planes into buildings and things like that. It was just horrendous. And so I said to at the time, the owners, I said, look, instead of going for a new events manager, why don't you let me have a chance? And that was it. And I did that job. Then another guy who was working with us, a guy called Will Criddle. Big Will. Yeah, Big William. And so he...
the man with
the biggest hands
like
in the world.
buckets.
Yeah, and who throws like a girl.
Yeah, honestly?
Yeah, he's the worst. Have you ever seen it? There's another story there. If you ever see him, this guy...
He's going to have to come on the pod at some point as well.
He will be listening.
Gent.
I promise he'll be cringing right now because he's got the biggest hands in the world. Yeah. We had a team cricket game and he can't throw a ball 3 yards. I mean, he just throws like an idiot. It's quite funny. And so, anyway, so Will was with us. I took over running of the events department. Will then went off to Betty's Hall and went there. And then I took over running the shooting ground at that point as well. We bought the name EJ Churchill.
Which is just a fantastic name, by the way.
Yeah, it's a cool name. There's a really cool story about how we bought it as well, but we won't bore you for now. And so went to auction and, cut long story short, we got the name and we rebranded everything EJ Churchill. Yeah. And then I took over as the general manager with a guy called Mark Osborne, who owns William Powell. Yeah. And Mark and Edward Dashwood, obviously. And then, cut long story short, Mark sold his share of the business and went to bought William Powell. Yeah. He did that. And I stayed at EJ Churchill and took over as managing director and a shareholder with Edward, and we've sort of just grown it.
It's quite the rise, isn't it? Considering you went there as an events manager at 22 to then.
Yeah, well, no, events organizer. I mean, literally, I was topping up traps in between events, making cups and teas and coffee, and I'd probably still do that now.
Sir Edward must have seen something in you.
I don't know about that. I just don't think. Yeah, I mean, look, everyone says that, but But it's not through lack of hard work.
No, absolutely. I've seen that firsthand.
And we still work, and we work really, really hard now. And we care, and it's just that passion and desire that, you see within lots of businesses. Look at who we've just spoken about. Betty's Hall with Gwyn and Anne and the family. I mean, they do an amazing job. Mark at William Powell, Will Criddle doing what he does in Criddle Field Sports. These guys, everything. A lot of them, they do an amazing job, but they've all got that passion and desire at the top, and you just keep driving it forward. And I think something I've been, excited about. The difference, I think, with myself and my work is I've never, ever in 23 years woken up and not looked forward to going to work.
Yeah.
And that has to be quite special.
When I've been down at the ground and like when the World Championships was on, there's a great buzz, and the team you've got there is fantastic as well.
Yeah, they're brilliant. And they see that vision. Yeah. You know what I mean? They believe in it, they share in it, and they're just Victoria, the whole team. I mean, they're all great. Jamie, no matter who you are, Anne, Roop, they've all got that passion and desire that we want to be the very best. And
you're covering pretty much every base aren't you? Really, you've got a retail shop, you've got your own gun makers, you've got gun shop,
which makes us quite
cartridges.
unique because a lot of others have never been like that.
No.
You know, from the sporting agency, making our own gun making, selling Brownings, Berettas, the whole thing. And it was something. I mean, I guess a bit of vertical integration. We wanted to be in control of all our own destiny. We didn't want to rent our shop out to somebody else.
No.
And we've seen others in the past over a long period try and do it, and it's not really worked. There aren't really many big successes like that. And actually, I guess what we have seen over the years is others have come back to our model. You know, they've then brought their shop back in house, or they've brought their whatever in, you know, or they've moved their business to the shooting ground and things like that. So it's and obviously recently with the expansion of the other shooting ground in Yorkshire as well. So that's a new step for us.
And I think as well, like from the outside looking in, a lot of people probably don't understand just everything and the amount that Churchills does. I mean, you host up-teen charity days now, won't you? Your season never really finishes, does it?
Yeah, it's a good point. Everyone's like, oh, it's, you know, everyone goes, oh, it's the shooting season. Oh, it's your busy time. And oh, it's quiet now. Now you're into the season. Well, it's not, because February we do huge amounts of a lot of days in Spain.
Yeah.
So we're flat out with that. March is a little quieter, but we go to South Africa. We do a lot of the rock pigeons in South Africa, so we do that.
You did promise me an invite there.
I know,
I'm putting it on record.
We should do a little competition and get people to come along with us. And so we do that. And then April, you're back into the events. We'll run 400 corporate events a year. Yeah. Over 400 now.
Wow.
And literally, it's just constant. So April, May is rammed with all the charity shooting days. We probably do 50, 60 charity shooting days all around the country. A lot at West Wickham, but we go all over the place. Chatsworth, Duncan Park.
So you'll have multiple on the same day, won't you? Sometimes. If you've got 400.
We do the odd time where we do maybe 2 charity shoots on a day, but it's very, very rare. We don't like doing it, if I'm honest with you. But sometimes you've just got to do it because you've got 2 charities and they go, the only day we can do because their committee is this day. Yeah. And somebody else is exactly the same. You know, and we can't let them down. So it's quite rare, but we will sometimes run 2. And it's full on. I mean, May, people say about the shooting season. The shooting season is the quieter time for us. I mean, we're still rammed, and the shooting schools are still busy. But that May, June, July, is
game fair and all
game fair. Yeah. You know, we run all the clay line there. Yeah. Then we run the World Championships, and we've done a.
Have you got that again this year?
Yeah, we've done a 6-year deal for it. So it's the first time it's ever happened. So it goes to America every other year. So this year it's in America. Yeah. Next year it's with us, and then back to America, back with us, back to America, back with us. So we've got it 25, 7, and 9. Wow. 29. Cool. So that's a big thing. I mean, everyone looks, God, you must be mad doing it. And a lot of others don't really want to do it. I mean, it was 6,500 people shot in the week.
Yeah, I remember
last year. I mean, it is mental.
Chaos, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's mental. I mean, we ordered 1.1 million clay pigeons for 1 week shooting.
Wow. Yeah.
1 week of shooting, 1.1 million. I mean, that is, give you an idea.
It's a lot of orange discs.
Yeah, that's 4.5 Arctic wagon loads of clay pigeons.
Mental.
Yeah, it's mental. But again, the team sharing that passion and desire, and they love doing it. And for us as a brand, it's been brilliant because we've used it basically as our marketing tool.
Well,
so
it's
you
a
go
big
into
thing
America
to say.
and go all around the world, everybody knows of E.J. Churchill. Yeah. Well, we're looking. You know, you've seen that advert. We're looking for a new shooting ground manager at High Wycombe.
They are. Plug it. You might get a viewer or a listener.
But what's amazing, the people have responded. We've had people from Mexico. We've had people from America. Loads of people from America replied. Wow. People from all over Europe. Loads of people from the UK. It's just, I mean, social media. I'm sure we'll chat about social media at some point. But, you know, I'm not a big fan of social media personally, and having young kids, seeing them get involved with social media, I hate. But
it is crucial to our businesses.
Spreading a word, it's just phenomenal how you just put it out there and it just goes viral.
Definitely.
It's phenomenal.
And without social media, I wouldn't have a business. Simple as that.
You literally started your business was based from social media.
Literally, yeah. Yeah, in COVID, we launched Tweedle. At the back end of COVID, and the first thing that went out was a YouTube video with old Dave Carey. Yeah. And we launched our social media at the same time, and it just, without it, I wouldn't have a business. Simple as that.
So come on, tell me about you. Where did this all start from with Tweedle then? You got to.
Yeah, so Tweedle is obviously a competition company, which hopefully a lot of people know. But it started because in COVID there was loads of different competition companies doing what I do, but for watches, cars, even houses. And obviously with our sport and our industry being quite expensive, I thought, there's an opportunity there because if people could win the chance to, for example, go on a trip like you're about to go on, win a gun like you guys make, literally everything, win a Range Rover, win a Defender to go shooting in.
Polaris, you did a Polaris, did you?
Yeah.
Sorts. Yeah.
We've done, so we've tried to cover all bases, but...
How many competitions have you done to date? Do you know?
I have a rough idea. It's over 1,000 winners so far.
Joking.
Yeah, but that's from everything from pairs of wellies right through to a Krieghoff.
Yeah.
So
I'm amazed how many people I know who have won things. I saw somebody the other day, and I'm like, how did that happen? Do you know what I mean? But honestly,
it's getting quite scary how many people are winning twice at the minute. But
is that right?
Oh yeah, I've had 2 people win 3 times.
Yeah. And you use a system, don't you? It's a computerized system, so it's I don't understand it, but there's you literally, it's just a constant rolling thing. You just push the button, and that's the person who wins it.
Yeah. So everybody, when you buy a ticket, you buy a number. And then when it gets drawn, we do it live on Facebook, and it's done using a random number generator. Yeah. So it's all completely random, can't be fixed. Doesn't matter how many bribes I get offered, because it's a lot. But
do you take them and then just say tough anyway?
Yeah. Well, my dad's sick of winning. No, absolutely not. In fact, I'm waiting for a friend or somebody that I know from home to actually win.
It must be the cringe-worthy moment, because say
when
imagine
if
I bought a ticket, and you think, oh God, could you imagine he's won? Everyone would be like, that's a fix, that's a fix.
It would look bad on me, but no. So that's Tweedle, and it's going really well. And obviously we're launching this as well alongside it. We're maybe doing a bit of something along the sporting agency side, but nothing major, just a few days a year. Good. Good because luck. Well, I know it's a bit. We'll get onto that as well in another episode, the sporting agency world. But no, it's going good.
Good.
So can't complain at all, and that's Tweedle. And actually, that leads on to the name of our podcast, doesn't it? Actually,
well, it does. Yeah, I don't know about this name, because I know everyone's going to call me one side and you the other.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum podcast.
Yeah, which blatantly means I'm going to be the Tweedledum, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, that's going to be great. Yeah,
hosted by Sam Hargreaves and Rob Fennick.
Yeah. Well, welcome and thank you to everyone listening. And I think, look, the one thing we're trying to do from this is we want to have a podcast that's fun.
Yeah.
But we want to have it that's going to address some areas, and we will talk 100% openly about it. There's no marketing angle on it. There's no, you know what I mean? I think we can just be completely straight. I think you get a lot of bollocks on them, don't you? And but I think I'd like to think with this, it's just straight talking. We'll get some really punchy people and get their opinions, whether we agree with them or not. And listen and chat about fun things. Hopefully, makes it interesting for people hearing on.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be crucial for us to get some of the names we've spoken about and thrown about the table to get on, because not often do high-profile people that are popular, at maybe even borderline celebrities, talk about shooting, but they all do it.
Yeah, they do,
and to get them to come on a platform and talk about it in some way, they don't have to go into detail, but it's just we need to promote it in a good light, because it is a good thing,
Definitely.
And like I say, a lot of people get involved in it. So.
And how was your shooting season?
Yeah, fabulous. Thank you.
Was it?
Yeah,
I saw you doing quite a lot. I mean, for a man who claims not to be doing any, you were doing quite a bit, weren't you?
The thing is, I put it on social media and you don't, so that people see it. But that's because of work. Yeah. But no, to be fair, the previous season was a lot busier. But no, it's been ace. We've got about quite a bit, a lot in Wales. But you can't.
Yeah, you do a lot in Wales. I mean,
sometimes
so good,
you can't.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's just guaranteed great sport.
We had some days there, but we had a day at Brigham's early on. Edward was shooting, Dash was shooting. Literally, I can't think when it was, October time. And he just said the day at Brigham's was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. And Ed is into wild bird shoot, loves his wild woodcock and his wild boar and everything like that. He's not really big into his, dare I say, commercial-driven pheasant shoot. Or that's not his sport, but he just said it was phenomenal. And for him to say that,
you've got your Brigands, you've got Leckwedigarth, Duffy Falls, Divvy Falls, whichever way you want to pronounce it. Pennal, you're spoilt a bit in North Wales at the minute, and the household names, which works for Tweedle, and it's same as sort of Water Priory, on Exmoor. There's some fantastic shoots, and shoots that people know about works for Tweedle because it sells tickets, and that's what we're here for. But no,
do you see? When you're doing things for tickets, then if you do Brigands, for example, let's talk about that one of the most famous in Wales. You see a spike in tickets over other shoots? Is that basically what happens?
Yes and no. Like if the offer's good, every shoot goes well. I mean, another subject we'll get onto is the price of it. The price of shooting is expensive no matter where you go now. And obviously the more premium shoots charge a little bit more, but obviously the size of the bag varies, and that improves that. But yeah, I think definitely a spike because it's a well-known shoot, but they're all popular, and we don't. We did one with Ben Hughes, a good friend of mine in the Cotswolds. He's just taken on Brimsfield Park.
Yeah, great shoot.
Gone really well.
Yeah,
and that sold
we've
well.
Had some days. He does a really good job.
Yeah, no, so definitely helps with the big names, but it doesn't. But don't you think?
I do find with shoot, everyone says to me, which is your best shoot? Which is the best one? I tell you what I find funny about shoots. Every shoot has a little USP.
Absolutely.
There isn't, in my basic opinion, as the D in this couple,
as
the dumb.
The dumb, sorry.
You're the D and I'm the dumb. As the dumb in this couple, I don't think there's one that has everything.
No, I agree.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I've been to places.
The people can make a shoot.
The people can make a shoot. The accommodation can make a shoot. The location can make a shoot. The quality of the birds can make a shoot.
Yeah.
The food can make a shoot. The hospitality, everything else.
Mixing with beaters and pickers up, I think.
Absolutely. But it's amazing how there aren't many that will absolutely be perfect to everything. Does that make sense? I've been to some where the birds are pretty average, but the accommodation is to die for.
Yeah.
Absolutely to die for.
Yeah.
And, and yet the birds aren't great, but they still do an amazing job of it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to others where the birds are brilliant, but the hospitality is not very great, or the location's in the middle of nowhere, or it doesn't matter what it is. But you hook all those things together. It's quite interesting. I'd love for people to, maybe we should say to people, they should drop us a note. And, if anyone's got,
a hidden
gem, one place, and it might be the ones we know.
Yeah.
But I bet it's not that they do a bad job or something, but it's just Brigham's is a prime example, isn't it, right?
Yeah.
I love Brigham's. I think it's a phenomenal shoot. But let's be really pernickety. If you stay at the lodges, it's an hour's drive, isn't it?
Correct,
to get the thing. So, okay, so it is what it is, and don't get me wrong, it's not the end of the world. But imagine if you put those lodges literally 2 miles from the doorstep.
Changed altogether, isn't it?
But then you've basically got the perfect package if you want high birds. But it's amazing how all these little things, there's always something. And I think that's what makes shooting so special.
Yeah.
Because it means that it doesn't matter what it is, you could say it means Brimsfield can compare with Brigham's. It means it means something in Devon can compare with one in Yorkshire. Because they've all got their own little USP.
But either way, like my dad says, he's never, ever had a bad day shooting. And I agree. A lot of people say, it was a bit naff, actually. Well, it's better than being in the office.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
We're very privileged to go to every single one of them, aren't we?
I agree.
And some of the venues you go to, I mean, Yorkshire especially, you look
stunning.
Around and you're like, wow, pinch me,
Yeah.
Because it's not a public footpath.
Places and meeting in places and houses and halls and estates that you're driving around, and you do have to pinch yourself at times, I must admit, and you just see so many great places.
And have you always been into shooting? Was your dad into a shooting?
Yes,
How is he, by the way?
He's good.
He's he's
really good.
Gent.
They were down at the weekend.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, he's really well. He doesn't change. I mean, he's just a legend, isn't he?
He is.
So, as is yours, they're just characters. That generation, they are just characters.
They are.
And they love life, and good for them. And so, I farming, but I was from a hunting family.
Right.
So we used to hunt with a Middleton. So I used to ride out with a Middleton. Then the master of the hunt, or the huntsman, was a guy called Tony Edwards, who, sort of as a child, used to go and stay with them and go on hound exercise with my little pony.
Wow.
Used to be in pony club. You can imagine me in pony club, can't you?
With the little joggers on.
Chasing all the girls. Get that thought out your head. So, anyway, so literally, we used to do a lot of riding.
Yeah.
Hunted, pony club, all that sort of carry on. And then my dad, of course, my granddad was where I think the shooting came from, because he was head keeper for the Queen at Windsor for 20 years.
Forgot about that.
So so my dad used to be down in Windsor. Gramps was head keeper at Windsor for 20 years.
Yeah.
And he and then Dad became a farmer, and then off we went from there. And then we got into shooting, and it just sort of, my passion for it just grew and grew and grew. Went to Harper.
Yeah.
Captained the shooting club, and it was just relentless.
Yeah,
And then at the time, Harper had a phenomenal shooting team. So we had like local people. My old shooting coach, a guy called Phil Stokes, he used to coach me and the team, and he did it out of fun.
Yeah.
he was just great. And we had this principal who we were winning everything. So you can imagine, you're little old Harper Adams. Their shooting club now is massive.
Well,
it's
yeah.
like bigger than their rugby team and everything like that.
Probably the most popular agricultural college in the country.
I think it is, yeah. And so we used to shoot there, and we built this shooting ground. And I remember the principal is a Welsh guy, and Professor Wyn Jones. And not that you'd guess as well.
Typical name.
Yeah. He'll be supporting the rugby at the weekend. Anyway, and Professor Wyn, so he was the prin, and he gave us some money to go and build a new shooting ground. And I'll tell you a great story. And we were like agricultural students, so all the engineering lads would come and drive the diggers, and we built this new shooting ground.
Yeah.
And he said, look, just, I said, how much can we spend? He was like, maybe 20,000, 30,000 pounds, that'll be fine. Just don't go silly.
It's a
Which
good
is a lot
little
of money.
budget.
So we're like, oh, Prof, thanks ever so much. So off we went, built this shooting ground, and we just went berserk, really. And we didn't really keep we were just agricultural students.
Yeah.
We didn't really keep a budget or a cost of what's going on.
Massive TVs, speaker system.
Well, and the shooting ground is still there now, which it needs to be for this story, because then we built it. We added it all up. We spent about £80,000 on this, and literally, and nobody really controlled us. And we were just spending money and everything else, but we were winning all these competitions. And I'll never forget, I went to see him, and he was like, he says, so my college nickname was called Jeffrey. Everyone used to call me Jeffrey at college. I used to play a bit of cricket, Yorkshire, Jeffrey Boycott, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
So call me Jeffrey. It's like, Jeffrey, how's it going? I went, we've built it, and we had a big opening of it. And I said to him, look, he said, it's amazing, Jeffrey. Oh, my God, this is unbelievable. This is a real project. I'm so proud of it. And he was a brilliant guy. And I was like, yeah, there is one small problem, Prof. It's like, oh, what's that? It's like, we spent 80 grand. He's like,
a bit over budget.
I said like 25, 30 grand. And we're like, yeah, I know that. He's like, I'll talk to the bursar. Leave that with me. Just keep winning all the competitions. And we were there for 4 years.
And you did, though, didn't you?
Never lost.
Yeah.
Won all the majors, all the individuals. And it sort of, Harper became this, from a shooting team, became this phenomenon. And the guys were phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
And you are pretty handy with a shotgun even now, aren't
I'm
you?
all right, mate. But I mean, I'm all right.
Side by side, man, aren't you?
Well, I was. I won the
Champion.
European side-by-side check before you give me any stick. I won the European
I've never heard you tell me that
side-by-side
before.
Championships. Yeah, if I get drunk, I tell everybody. Although I shoot with an over and
It's
under,
quite a
can
good
I
claim,
just say?
though.
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. Everyone says there was nobody else in the competition. But, I did beat Richard Folds. He was in the competition. So Rich is a good mate.
Yeah.
And so I haven't beaten him ever
No.
at anything else
No.
ever. And
He
I'm
must have
nowhere
had the
near
flu.
him. Can I just say that? It was a sheer fluke. So
No, there's some excellent shots out there, though, and they're flipping out.
And also you seem to be seeing more and more and more of them.
Yeah.
And I remember all those years ago shooting, you saw some good shots, but now these people just and young shots.
Well, you look at, like, I've never been massively into my clays. I don't really compete. I love shooting them, but every now and again in the summer. But these lads, sort of my age, that are going week in, week out and putting on the CPSA scores that are incredible, like knocking Mark Windsor, Digweed, George Digweed. Sorry, I should give him the honour of his full name.
Yeah, he deserves that.
He definitely deserves that.
Yeah.
And so, there's loads of names, isn't there?
There
to
are.
even mention.
Yeah, when you have a competition, people say, "Oh, who's going to win it?" I say it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Because there's 100 names that could win it on their day. The difference is when you've mentioned George Digweed and Mark Windsor and Richard Folds.
Yeah.
The difference with those guys, and George especially, not that you can say it about the others, but those real elite, they just seem to be able to come to the top.
Yeah.
Whenever the time is really on. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
absolutely.
George might not win every single registered shoot.
The
from
last
shooting
bit of edge when it counts.
But he has got everything focused, and he's phenomenal. I was in America when he won 2 years ago, so not last year when it was with us, the year before, when he won the English Sporting. I mean,
just incredible.
As a veteran, I mean,
Was
broke
that
all the records.
28?
I think it probably was.
I think he's 28 times world champion, which is in what other sport could you say that?
And honestly, watching that final and seeing him shoot, he's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
He just sticking big score, and the Americans were on real song then. I mean, they were phenomenal. Their team is brilliant, and they are. And George, and the final was just brilliant to watch because he was the only European, let alone British person in the final. It was just Americans and him in this big super final in San Antonio, and he was just like a bear. He was. I mean, it was just. You just watched
In
him
the
and felt
zone.
scared. He was.
Yeah.
Just, he was just amazing. And the Americans
first
are sort
ever-
of twiddling their cartridges and closing their gun and moving
Yeah.
their cap and you know what I mean,
Superstition.
and scratching their arse 3 times
Yeah.
and then touching their eyebrow and then they would shoot. George was. He was leading the way, so the last person leading, everybody else went in order of who was at the bottom of the carrying score forward. George went going last, and they were sort of doing all this sort of whatever it is, and
Superstitious stuff.
yeah, exactly, and all their coaching techniques. And George was just sat at the back with his gun on his knee, stand up, walk in,
Shoot.
boom, 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 and just
Pair dead.
absolutely pair dead. And we were going crazy, and it was phenomenal. And
first
and they
time
never looked. He looked different gravy to
Yeah.
these world-class shots.
Yeah.
He was never going to lose that. From the moment he stepped in that cage and shot his first pair, he was never going to lose that.
No.
It was phenomenal. I mean, how we
Well,
we'll
that's,
get George
this
on.
was the thing that. Oh, absolutely. Hopefully, anyway.
just to
Hopefully,
hear
it gives
about
us the
it.
honour. Yeah, but the first time I ever watched a shoot off of any scale was at High Wycombe, West Wycombe, sorry, in front of Sir Edward's house there at the World Championships, and George was shooting in the seniors for the shoot off. I think Mark Windsor and James Bradley Day and those sort of characters were in there. I can't remember who won it that year.
Mark.
It was
Mark Windsor. Yeah, Mark
Yeah,
won
it
it.
was.
Yeah.
And
Because
that
there's another Yorkshire lad, Mark Webster,
That's right.
who was leading, and he had to.
I think he was too clear going
He
into
was,
the shoot
it was something like and he had to just hit one of his final pair. Mark had already shot, and the nerves got to him, and he missed his final pair, which meant Mark won by 1.
Oh, flipping heck.
I know. I was heartbroken. I was delighted for Mark
Yeah,
because he's a
absolutely.
great mate
Yeah.
and everything else, and he's a beautiful shot. But he, I was
But,
gutted for
but
Paul.
it's a spectacle in its own right. A good shoot off
Yeah.
needs to be broadcasted more.
It does. I agree because it's really good to watch, but it's blooming hard to film and to do it.
Yeah,
isn't it?
oh yeah.
That's what I. But I'd imagine with modern technology and everything else.
Charlie.
And Charlie.
We've got our
yeah.
own Sky Sports here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no pressure for our 11-year-old cameraman. So, so,
Child labour.
well, he does look 11. So he might be. How old are you, Charlie?
Killing you here.
19. There's no way he's 19.
19, yeah.
Yeah. So, but there'll be a way because if you can broadcast it and do it, with some fun people commentating,
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
It would be amazing.
But listen, I think we're going to be bombarded now by the rest of the guests in the private lounge. How far are we in, Charlie? 32 minutes, perfect. Good little opening.
Think everyone will be asleep by now or bored of us?
No, not at all. They'll be excited, hopefully. But yeah, it's just a bit of a taste. The first episode, we'll get more and more used to it, of course. And obviously, having a co-host on will encourage conversation. We're going to get some brilliant ones on. Or not a co-host, a guest. Sorry,
A guest, yeah.
And well, it's all more on you actually. The busiest man in the planet needs to block out some afternoons for me and Charlie.
I might not be able to come on every one, which will probably please people, so they don't have to listen to me. But yeah, no, we'll get some good people, and we're going to have a lot of fun. But we want to get some engagement from the audience as well, don't we?
Yeah, who do you want
ask
to
those
see?
questions, and who do they want to see? What is it they want to know?
Yeah.
And we'll give those honest answers that maybe are avoided at a few times.
Yeah.
Who's the best shot you've seen this season?
Ooh. On game.
We could wrap up with that.
The first person that comes to mind, but I haven't had a shot with him this season, is Andy Britton.
Phenomenal.
Only because Drumland Rig last year, I have never seen anybody shoot as tidy in my life.
Yeah. So I saw him last year. He was phenomenal. I haven't seen him this year, but I've heard he's just
very
on fire.
impressive, isn't it?
Yeah. He is good.
What about you?
2 people. Dave Kempley, who's a chap from North Yorkshire who does a lot of high bird shooting, and I saw him shoot at Merton, and he was on fire.
Yeah.
And then we went down to Devon, and those birds at Merton they're like drumland,
Yeah.
they're mega. And going down to then Devon after that, they just made him look easy. Do you know what I mean? And he was just, and they don't hit everyone. Of course they don't. Everyone misses. Even they do. Even George does. Everyone misses. But he shot really, really well.
Yeah.
And then the other person is he's remarkable, but he's a fascinating guy. And we should get him on here. He's the man who owns Boss & Co. Gunmakers.
Oh,
A
right.
guy called Arthur Demoulas. He's an American chap.
Definitely.
And he's a great guy. My God, I shot in Scotland with him. I mean, and I've I've shot with him a lot over the last few years. He's just got better and better and better. He is an incredible shot. And what's amazing about him is he owns Boss. So he has side-by-side Boss, over and under Boss, ribless Boss, side lever
pretty
Boss.
guns.
Beautiful guns. And, I mean, they are making some stunning English guns at the moment.
Yeah.
He'll shoot side-by-sides one day and shoot beautifully. I mean, and proper stuff, takes on everything.
And then picks up
and then picks up over and unders and shoots beautifully with over and unders.
Yeah, it's not fair, that, is it?
No, that's not fair.
Taking the piss.
Yeah, no, it's not. And he shoots really well in terms of an all-round shot on game. And he won't shoot any clays whatsoever. But as a game shot, he's a brilliant game shot.
There is some great ones. And we've actually, I mean, Charlie's been on a few days with me at the end of the season. Our winners, for some reason at the minute, Tweedle winners are hot shots.
I know.
So, which is ace as well, obviously. Getting the money's worth off the £10 ticket, which is ace. But, yeah. Right, no, we'll wrap it up, Rob, I think.
Okay, mate. Well, listen, good to see you.
Yeah.
We've got to jump on the plane and we will catch up very soon. You
well,
look
I'm
after
not.
yourself.
My passport is in the bag, but I'm still not.
We're not kidnapping you.
Yeah, but thanks for everyone for watching. Stay tuned, and we'll be getting some more episodes out very, very shortly.
Cheers, guys.